Alright, what is up guys? VV back with another video. Going over the purple OP04 cards today. Let's get straight into it. Alright, first up we got Iceberg. He is a 1 cost, Water 7, Galila Company, purple character. And he's got a lot of text here to read. Okay, first of all, effect on your opponent's attack. Dawn -1. Excuse me. If your leader has the Water 7 type, this character gains blocker during this turn. Okay. Water 7. So let's just take a look real quick. Yeah, it's none of these guys. It's going back to the original, you know, the Iceberg leader, I think. 1 calls for a 0 power 1k counter. I guess that's what it is, right? Because your typical 1 cost blocker is a 1 cost 1000 power 0 counter. This just flips it and makes it where you have to return 1 Dawn to your Dawn deck so that he gets blocker. Okay, just so then this is just a 5 out of 10, very average 1 cost blocker with the downside that I think most people would not want. You know, like, and otherwise this card is just completely dead. I got to go lower than a 5 out of 10. I got to go 4 out of 10 on this guy. 3, nope, I'm going lower than that. I'm going actually 2 out of 10 with this card here. 2 out of 10. Okay. Crocodile, 8 cost, 9000 power. We got a purple, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Baroque Works character. His effect is on play, Dawn -2. Excuse me. If your leader type includes Baroque Works, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. I really like that. And then he has another ability as well. On your opponent's attack, okay, once per turn, Dawn -1. Draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. So a very nice cycle effect for -1 Dawn. Yeah, this card is very nice. Whew, this card is really nice. It's at the 9000 power like sweet spot where a 4k counter won't save them unless they're running Whitebeard, obviously. Excuse me. I think I actually think that this card is excellent. Yeah, I actually think this card is excellent because like when you play this card, you're obviously going to want to use the Dawn effect. And it just flat out, you know, if your leader type includes Baroque Works, if he's in the right deck, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. That's life gain. You're gaining life. Excuse me. You got to remember, when you gain life in this deck, it's actually a huge deal. Number 1, you're gaining a resource, right? Like you're eventually going to draw that life card, right? If the game goes on long enough, you're going to draw that as a resource. Number 2, it allows you to stay in the game. It's survivability. And, you know, number 3, there's not a lot of access to it in the game currently, so it's pretty rare. It's a pretty powerful effect all around. And, you know, I mean, yes, we're going to get more as the sets go on, and yellow has a lot of interaction with it, but I think y'all get what I'm saying. I think this card is excellent. I would rate this card at and this is an 8 cost 9k, and with 2 relevant effects to make up for the 1k power loss and the 1k counter loss. You don't want to use this as a counter. I mean, obviously. Well, you know, it kind of is a counter, right? Like, oh, okay, instead of me pitching this card to survive with a 1k counter, I'm just going to play him next turn as an 8 cost 9k and get the life back I just lost. And then he has a cycle effect while he's on the board. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Really, really good card. Overall, all around, this card is excellent. 9 out of 10 for Crocodile. Parallel art. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Allergies. We got Tom here, 3 cost, 4k power, 1000 counter. Okay, so he's a purple fishman, water 7 character. He's just 1k off of vanilla cost. Let's see what this effect is. Activate main. You may trash this character. If your leader has the water 7 type, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Excuse me. I don't care for this card as much. I know it's for the water 7 stuff, and that's a very specific play style, very, you know, interesting play style, we'll call it. I'm gonna go with because you're trashing the card to get this effect. I'm going with below average for this card, actually. because it does not hit the 5K threshold that you really need from a 3-cost character. I'm going with a 4 out of 10. It's just below average. It's not, if you get the effect off, it's better than nothing at least. But now you're basically just paying 3 to ramp 1 Dawn. I'm going 4 out of 10. I'm just not a big fan. Banana Gator, 5 cost, 7,000 power, 1,000 counter. This is an animal type purple character. This is just your vanilla 5 out of 10. Frankie, 1 cost, 1,000 power, 2,000 counter. Okay, here we go. Water 7 or the Frankie family type character. Effect, on your opponent's turn, once per turn, Dawn -1. If your leader has the Water 7 type, up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this battle. It's not during this turn. It's only for the battle, but that's still, it's better than nothing. I think ultimately this is just a 7K counter, or a 2K counter, getting your guy to 7K. Yeah, I think that's strictly what this is. So I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10. Miss All Sunday, 5 costs, 5,000 power. Purple Baroque Works character. Effect, on play. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Then, if you have 6 or more Dawn cards on your field, draw 1 card. That is a 5 cost. Wow. I was scared when I first saw that it was lacking 2,000 power and a 1,000 point counter. But and then she has a trigger as well. Dawn -2, play this card. So you can use her for tempo if needed. And I mean, if it's late enough, if it's like turn 5 or 6 where you have 10 Dawn down, and you play her, you still got to draw a card because you're gonna -2 Dawn. She's gonna unplay add a Dawn, and rest it. Then if you have 6 or more Dawn, draw a card on your field. Draw 1 card. So let's see. You can play this as early as 7 Dawn, right? Because if you play it at 7 Dawn, you'll go back to 5 Dawn. You'll play her to add 1 Dawn to get back to 6. So, I mean, 7 Dawn or higher, you're still getting this effect on the trigger by adding 2 Dawn back to your Dawn deck. This card's incredible. The only thing I do have to say is it's lacking a counter, but, the effect must add up, I guess they're saying that the effect and the trigger is what makes up for that. Because you're adding 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and resting it. So you're ramping 4, you're getting on an even curve. Well, assuming you're on the odd curve, it helps you get to an even curve. Or if you're already on an even curve, it just gets you that much further, ahead, I guess. You know what I'm trying to say there. It's good either way. Then if you have 6 or more Dawn cards on your field, draw 1 card. It's replacing itself as a card effect, or as a card by drawing. It's ramping you Dawn. It has a trigger to come to play. The only thing it's lacking is a counter. This is a 9 out of 10. 5K power as well, so it does hit that first threshold, that first sweet spot to get across the enemy leader, the opponent's leader's life, the life of the opponent's leader. Y'all know what I'm saying. With the 5,000 power, very solid. 9 out of 10. And okay, we got the alternate art. Very cool. They're both about the same to me. They both look really cool. This was a little flashier. Okay, Miss Golden Week. Marianne. 2 costs, 3,000 power, 1,000 counter. She is a purple Baroque Works character. On play, if your leader type includes Baroque Works, up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less cannot attack until the start of your next turn. Excuse me. That is really solid. Now, of course, against rush decks, it doesn't have that much of a strength to it, right? It's kind of lackluster there, but I mean, that's basically only red. Well, I don't know. Once we get to the Dressrosa black cards, you'll see where this is also potentially very good. Well, I don't know, because of Corda Coliseum. So red and black... I must have lost track of what I was saying there. The red and black decks can potentially get around this pretty easily, but this is a great way to prolong, your board state. You don't have to worry about that guy swinging now. I think this card's really... It has a trigger as well. Dawn -1, play this card. So you return 1 Dawn to your hand, or to your Dawn deck, rather, and then you play this card. She's a 3K body on a 2 cost. So, yeah, if you want to swing with her, it's going to cost a little bit, but, I mean, this card... The on-play effect is what this card is for, and that on-play effect is nice. I'm going to give that a 6.5. It is a costs 5 or less. So you can even do this like later in the game, like around turn 3 or 4, and just hit like a Trafalgar Law, hit a I know I use that example a lot, but it's a relevant card. You can even use it on a Zoro, right? You can use it on Zoro or Luffy. Like, hey, are you swung with him last turn? Okay. Or if you have any way to reduce cost, maybe if this is like a black-purple deck, you can hit something even bigger. So I'm going to go with 7 out of 10. Or I'll go 6.5 out of 10. I'm sorry. I got to say it was 6.5. This card is very solid, and it does exactly what it's supposed to, and it's, you know, it will be a very big annoyance to your opponent. Miss Valentine, Makita, 2 cost, 2,000 power, 1,000 counter. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 card with a type including Baroque Works and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So a typical 2... I'm going to read the trigger in a second. Well, I'll just read it now. Don -1, play this card. Typically a 2-cost Searcher is going to be a 2-cost 3K with a 1K counter. But this has trigger ability to play this card. So I would say that definitely makes up for what's missing. And I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. This is just a solid Searcher with, you know, while it doesn't have the 1,000 power that most Searchers have, it's actually fine in this case where you just get the potential to play her off of your life for free. Well, with Don -1, but you guys know what I mean. So 7 out of 10 for Miss Valentine, or Valentine. Miss Merry Christmas, Trophy. She's a 4-cost, 4,000 power, purple Baroque Works character. Effect, blocker. Trigger, Don -1, play this card. So, you know, a little underwhelming to me personally. It's a 4K 4-cost blocker, so that's already a little ways under the curve compared to your Borsalinos, compared to your Boa Hancocks, compared to your, you know, just a lot of, even like Marco, there's quite a few that are 4-cost that are 5K with a 1K counter. And this character not only is lacking the 1K power in that regard and the 1K counter, but the trigger's not... I mean, the trigger's nice. It brings it into play, right? For just Don -1. And in this deck, in a deck that would run this, that'd be kind of free. But it does set you back regardless. And I don't know. I guess it depends. It does depend on with the leader... This would be in the Croc deck where it's basically is free, right? Because you Don -1 on your opponent's turn. It comes back into play. I think so. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. But it's a solid card. I give it like a... But it's only 4K power. It really... The only benefit of this card is getting it off the trigger, which will not happen super often. Yes, there are ways with yellow in the purple-yellow deck for it to, you know, be more... How do you say it? For it to be more... You can ensure that it's on top more frequently with the purple-yellow decks, but at the same time, it's still just... I don't know. When I want a 4-cost blocker, I want it to have a pretty relevant effect. Because even if, like, say it was a purple-yellow deck we're talking about, why would you not just run Sanji, who's a 4-cost 5K, 1K counter with all this, you know? Now, technically, that one has discard a card, or trash a card to play it off the trigger, but it's better in every single other way. I don't know. Just brainstorming. I give this a 4 out of 10. You could argue 5 out of 10, though. I could see where you could argue 5 out of 10 in the correct purple-yellow deck. But on paper, 4 out of 10. Yokozuna, 3-cost, 3,000 power, 1K blocker, purple animal, water 7 character. It also has the effect, other than blocker, it is on your opponent's turn, Don -1, return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. This is basically the Fukuro for purple, right? The black card and even Shirley for the yellow cards. There's these 3-cost, 3,000 power, 1,000 counter blockers that have an effect that's appropriate to the theme. You know, and this one's on your opponent's attack. Return one Don to your deck, to your Don deck, and return to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. You won't be able to really interact with your opponent's side of the board to lower the cost because it's on their turn. It's on your opponent's attack. But, you know, this is fine. It's just, okay, return to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. That's not really great, right? I mean, think of a lot of the 1 and 2 cost characters. They're mainly going to be searchers, or they're going to be, mainly searchers, to be honest. Searchers, buffers, or cards that have effects that were 2K counters that had to be, you know, had to be forced down to keep a good game state. So I don't see this effect as being that great, but with it being this kind of blocker, I'm still going to give it. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 5. I think it's a solid, well-costed blocker with 2 decent effects on it. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 5. Okay, Mr. 2, We got Bon Curé Bentham. Excuse me, guys. Mr. 2 Bon Curé Bentham. 3 cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter. It's only 1,000 power off being vanilla, which is really good. It is a purple Baroque Works character with the effect of, on your opponent's attack, Dawn -1. This character's base power becomes the same as the power of your opponent's attacking leader or character during this turn. Trigger, Dawn -1, play this card. This character's base power becomes the same as the power of your opponent's attacking leader or character during this turn. So I guess this is a good defense against someone who's swinging at this character, but this isn't a blocker. I have to stress that. This is not a blocker. I don't like it. we're going with 3.5 out of 10. Mr. 3, Galdino. 3 costs, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter, purple Baroque Works character. On your opponent's attack. A lot of on your opponent's attack stuff going on. Once per turn, Dawn -1, give up to one of your opponent's characters -1,000 power during this turn. See, now that's fine. Giving someone -1,000 power. Like, I just, like, why would I care about matching their power with this card? Because not only am I going to, with this kind of card, I'm going to have to return the Dawn, and I'm going to have to counter out with them, right? Like, because I'm only matching them. So if they're swinging at me, because it's on my opponent's attack. So if they're swinging at him where I'd need to use this ability, I have to match with the Dawn -1 and then also play a card from hand to save him. I don't know. This card, on the other hand, though, just -1,000 power to an opponent's character during this turn. I wish it was characters or leaders, but this is solid. This I give just a, for this kind of deck, it's just a straight up 5 out of 10. Solid average card, I think. Maybe slightly above average, maybe a 5.5. Yeah, we'll go 5.5 because it's slightly above average, I think. Mr. 4, Babe. He is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, purple Baroque Works type character with a 1,000 counter, with the effect of, on your opponent's attack, Dawn -1. This character gains blocker and plus 1,000 power during this battle. So that's pretty good. He becomes a 5 cost 7k for your Dawn -1. And like we were saying, yeah, this is Baroque Works. I believe it's running the leader where whenever you return a Dawn card on your opponent's turn, you get it back, right? It comes right back into play. I'll check in a second here. We're about to be through it, and we'll talk about it. But I think this card is very solid. I put this in the 7.5 out of 10 because he gets blocker and plus 1,000. That's very good. Very, very nice. So I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Mr. 5, Jim. G-E-M for Jim. Excuse me. This is a 7 cost, 8,000 power, 0 counter, purple Baroque Works character on your opponent's attack. Here we go again. This one's Dawn -2. You may rest this character, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Okay, that makes it scary for your opponent to attack. This is, I know I mentioned Borsellino a lot, but this really does, like, he's one of the cards you have to look out for, right? He's one of the cards you need that a lot of people want counters for. Well, this is it, because it doesn't matter who they swing with. It says, on your opponent's attack, you put 2 Dawn back to your Dawn deck. You may rest this character, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. And remember, Borsellino's ability is only during their turn, on the opponent's turn. So in other words, this is not the opponent's turn anymore. It's the active player's turn, who is your opponent, right? That was kind of confusing, but you get what I'm saying. The point is this can target him easily. Yeah, and all you have to do is rest him, and he's an 8,000 power. This guy's big. This is a big character. 7 costs, 8,000 power. It's 1,000 power off of curve for vanilla and 1,000 counter away. But you're getting this kind of ability to KO, and you're not discarding anything. You're only returning Dawn to your hand, or Dawn to your Dawn deck. This is I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 for this. This card is very strong card. Because this makes your opponent scared to swing for the rest of the time he is in play, or they're just going to have to take take the hit, so to speak, right? They're just going to have to take the punishment and just swing, so that way he uses his effect and kills or KOs one of the characters you didn't want him to KO, and now you can at least, or you know, in your opponent's mind, now they can at least swing into him to try and take him out, because he's a threat, and he's an 8,000 power. Now, it is true that you have to rest this character to get his effect, so you can't swing with him if you want to get his effect. So there is a balance there, and that's why I only give him an 8 out of 10. But other than that, I mean, why would, you know, hey, when it's late enough, you do swing with him and just, you know, you can swing into their characters that are rested. So, very strong control character. I like this one a lot. 8 out of 10. Oof, okay, that is awesome. This is probably one of the better parallel arts I've seen. Mr. 5 Gem parallel art. This art, 10 out of 10. Very cool. Okay, Mr. 13 and Miss Friday. 3 cost, 2,000 counter. Here we go. 1,000 power, purple, animal, Baroque Works character. Trigger, play this card. Let me see that first. Effect main, you may trash this card and one of your characters with a type including Baroque Works. Add up to 1 Dawn card for your Dawn deck and set it as active. Okay, that effect is ridiculous. Like in a bad, it's bad. You can trash this character and another character with a type including Baroque Works just to add 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Nope. That part would be a 0, but that 2,000 counter, we're putting him at a 7. 7 out of 10, guys. Very nice. 2,000 counter. Colors Trap. Colors Trap. 1 cost. Purple Baroque Works event. Effect. Counter is Dawn -1. Up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this battle. Then rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost 4 or less. Trigger, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Excuse me. I think this is solid for a 1 cost. You are returning 1 Dawn, but you're resting one of their characters and you're getting plus 1,000 power. So it's almost like you can see this as a card that, you know, how do I say it? It's like you're discarding a 1k counter, but it's also resting one of the opponent's characters. I think this is a 7. This is a nice, or 6.5 out of 10. I'm going to go with 6.5 out of 10. Because it is only plus 1,000 power. Okay, Nez Palm Cannon. 3 cost, purple Baroque Works event. This is effect, counter, up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 6,000 power during this battle. Then, if you have 2 or less life cards, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. Trigger. Add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck, set as active. So, either way that this goes off, you're getting some Dawn. But the effect itself is what it's about. You're paying 3 to get plus 6,000 power as a counter. I think this is very solid. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. You know, most counters people want to run are going to be 3 or 2 cost and under, 1 and 2 cost, you know, plus 2Ks and plus 4Ks. But the 3, excuse me guys, sorry about that. The 3 cost cards giving plus 6,000, who knows with how the meta goes if that doesn't become more popular, right? Instead of, you know, I know everyone knows what it's like when you have a turn where it's like, okay, I've got like 3 Dawn left over, so I'm going to attach 1 Dawn to my leader and swing for a little bit extra. That's not bad. That's never a bad strategy, obviously. But in this case, it's like, well, I'll just leave 3 Dawn open, and now they can't punch through unless they commit more and more Dawn for a plus 6,000 counter. You know, I think this is a 7 out of 10. I think it's fine. Weakness is an unforgivable sin. This is a 1 cost, purple, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Baroque Works event. Effect is counter, Dawn -1, up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this turn. Okay, I already like this one better than Colors Trap, because for the same 1 Dawn and Dawn -1, this is only 1,000 power during this battle, and then it has the rest effect. Whereas Weakness is an unforgivable sin is the same exact cost, Dawn -1, 1 cost, and it's up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains plus 1,000 power during this turn, and then no additional effect. But it does have the same trigger too. Add up to 1 Dawn. Yeah, that's a lot of purple events have this trigger. Add up to 1 Dawn card for your Dawn deck and set as active. I think this is a solid 7 out of 10. This one's a 7 out of 10 for me. Okay, and I think that is it. Magellan parallel art looking really cool. Excuse me, Don Quixote do Flamingo. We talked a lot about him in the green video. But Crocodile, this is the purple-yellow guy we were talking about with the purple-yellow interactions. This is the Baroque works. See, Doflamingo is Seven Warlords of the Sea and Don Quixote, whereas Crocodile is Seven Warlords of the Sea and Baroque works. And he has, on your opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Don card on your field is returned to your Don deck by your effect, add up to one Don card from your Don deck and set it as active. So you see it just comes back into play. So you do have to take that into consideration when considering these cards. Cool alternate arts for all this stuff. So overall, I think Purple got some really great stuff. I think Crocodile is incredible, the character. Tom, good vanilla there. Miss All Sunday, very, very good. This card was interesting. The Miss Golden Week, Marianne. That has potential, I think, in a control deck. I could be wrong. Miss Valentine, just a searcher. I didn't care for a Trophy. Yokozuna, just your three calls, 3K counter. Or three calls, 3,000 power, 1K counter blocker. This guy was kind of weird. Someone tell me if you have him figured out in the comments below. Mr. 3, average, pretty good stuff, I think Mr. 4, Babe was really solid. Mr. 5, Jim, I think was excellent. And, yeah, Nespalm Cannon and Weakness is an Unforgivable Sin, to round it out. I think Purple got some good stuff, guys, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for stopping by and for listening this long. I'm getting better. I'm trying to get better at making I want each video to be around 20 minutes for these card reviews. I like to talk about these cards, though, so... we'll see how it goes. I can't make any promises. Well, again, thanks a lot, guys. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. And until next video, guys, peace.